What's up? How's everyone doing? Of course, Dave here with the Fragrance Bros. Who's that? Whack Pack in the house. You smells good. How you doing, Eugene? Always glad to have you on. Rich Mitch, how you doing, man? Is it a bad year for you? I'm sorry to hear that. I really am. Muddy, waka waka waka. Adios mio. I'm here. I'm not late. I pressed live the second it went up. How's everyone doing? How are you doing, Mark? Doing really good. By the way, if you want to ask a question, I think you can @ me at Fragrance Bros, and I think it'll give me a notification so I can go right there. And there's always the super chat if you want to do that. Always appreciate that. No pressure, but that will give me a notification that I have to answer your question. That'll go straight up to the queue. And of course, you can just say hi. DJ Genki, how are you doing, man? Yeah, it's doing good over here. Wagner Porras, how are you doing? Hey. So, today I just want to talk about 2019. I'm not going to be too in depth here. I'm actually going to make a video about the past for Fragrance Bros. So I have that in the works. I'm going to try to work on that this week. But I just want to see how you guys are doing. I know every year comes around and there's always these memes about how the last year was awful. And there's never any memes about it being good. I guess that's just, the Schadenfreude effect there. But I just wanted to know if everyone regretted 2019. A lot of people apparently had bad years. I just wanted to know if you had a good year, maybe. Mine was pretty good. It wasn't like the best ever, but it was really good. I can't complain about it for me. So nothing bad for me. And I also thought about going into this thought process about regret and how regret is actually a good thing. I know a lot of people live life with saying they live life without regrets. But to me, if you don't have any regrets, then you can't learn from your mistakes. And a lot of times people say that they learn from their failures, but you don't really regret a failure. A failure happens whether you maybe you made a good decision and you failed. Maybe you made a bad decision and you failed. But if you made a good decision and you failed, you don't regret that. You just had a failure. So to me, I think living with regrets is always a good thing, because then you can learn from your regrets and change who you are. That has nothing to do with fragrances. So that was just free. Scream me sex doll. It was a bad year. I was giving Office Men as a gift. Ugh. Bruh. Fragrance Apprentice. It was actually my best year for the Fragrance Apprentice ever. For me personally, it was okay. Yeah. Thanks for coming on, Fragrance Apprentice. Always glad to have you. Yeah, you had a great year, man. You were doing really, really great with your videos. DJ Genki, never regret any experiences because you either learned from them or succeeded because of them. So if you don't regret them, how do you learn from them? So that's my question. If you don't regret them, then you made a good choice. And if you made a good choice, then you don't have to learn anything from it because you already assumed it was a good decision. Muddy, I had a good year discovering old frags. Yeah, that's always really fun. I always love it when you discover fragrances that are like vintage, or maybe they're just past their prime. I always think that's really cool. Wheelio, I discovered I own too many frags I don't use. Let's see, Mexic Ghost Hunter 86. Hey Dave, where's your Navitas review? I just did mine a few days ago. I actually haven't gotten mine yet. I actually need to talk to Steven about that. So he's going to send me some. I have to check my mailbox. I'm not sure if I gave him my mailbox address or not. Maybe he already sent it to me and I just missed it. But he is sending me some, so I'm really excited about that. So I don't have that review up yet. But also wanted to talk about some some things I just got that some of them I'm excited for, some of them I'm not too excited for, but I just want to talk about those. Fragrance Apprentice, thanks so much, bro. Yeah, man, you're awesome. Always love your channel. Catch my whiff. Hey, man, how are you doing? So I finally got Aqua Amara. So finally got to try this for the first time. Muddy, I sold about 200 I don't use anymore. Whoa, wow. I need to sell a lot. If you need anything, guys, email me, because I have a whole list of things that I'm trying to sell and get rid of. I just need more space. I have way too much fragrances. I bought a clothing drawer. It's a giant thing. It's like 5 feet tall, and I bought it just for fragrances, and it is full. I have to get rid of these. So email me at fragrancebros, daver@fragrancebros.com, and if you need anything. Fragrance Tattoo, I believe that if you take care of what you do and think ahead of what outcomes will be, regrets will not come up later. That's true. I think that's true. I still think that you make mistakes, though, even while thinking ahead. And so that's where my point is. Like, even if you try, which is great, even if you plan ahead, you still make mistakes, and you still may regret a decision you made, even with forethought. Like, no one is infallible. So I think that regrets are a good thing. Tyler Wright, send me more Tom Ford. I need it. Jay Stacks, I enjoyed 2019 and 2020 will continue with the greatness. Awesome. Fragrance Apprentice. First, let me discuss Aqua Amara. Yes, let's discuss Aqua Amara. I'm not convinced this is great. It's okay. But I can see why people like it, because it's still okay. It's still pretty good. Greggy boy, hey man, how are you doing? Doing well. How are you doing? Good to see you. Hey Jason, how are you doing? DJ Genki, I only regret one thing of 2019: paying for a full bottle of Sombre. Sombre Negra, or is it a different bottle? Is it a different Sombre? Milad Malian. I'm not sure how to pronounce your last name, or at least the last name on your username there. Welcome. So no more Aventus review. That's funny. Jay Stacks, I just bought 1821 Sweet Tobacco Spirits, and I love it, as well as Rich, Warm, and Addictive. Now I'm currently waiting on my package, HOS #1. Night of Light. I have a couple of videos about Scentbird. I think they're interesting. I think it's a good service. The value, I think, is pretty good. You could do better with the value, but I think if someone is not serious into fragrances and they just want to try a lot of things every once in a while, I think it's a good service. I think if you're in deep, kind of like we are, I'm not exactly sure if it's something that would benefit you, because I think that if you're into fragrances on any kind of hobby level or greater, maybe it's becoming a passion. I don't think that Scentbird offers anything that you would want. I think it is good at getting people's foot wet for fragrances that they haven't tried for a pretty reasonable price, and without having to go to the store. So I think that's really good. Anyway, so Aqua Amara, pretty good. It does remind me a lot of Bulgari fragrances, but with just extra citruses, which is nice. I know a lot of people say they get compliments from it. This just proves why compliments mean nothing, because it's just kind of just a somewhat bland. I say bland. It's not bland. it has some character to it, but it doesn't pull any surprises. It's just an aquatic with citrus on top. Gaming for Ohio. I've never gotten any headaches from ISOE Super. Some people are just more sensitive to certain ingredients than others. I know some people are maybe allergic to it. Maybe some people get headaches from it. It kind of just is a personal thing. So sorry to hear that. I know it's a popular ingredient in a lot of things. Jason Pohl says, Amara didn't work for me, so I gave it to a friend. Yeah, I can see that. This is, I think, a really good gift to a friend who may not know much about fragrances, but I don't want to say that it's bad. I'm not knocking it. I think it's good. I just don't, like, it was like a rock star for a long time, but I don't, you know, it's okay. I don't see it rock star status by any means. Whoops. Senator, how are you doing, man? I don't care for Amara either, he says. Fall Guy, fresh aquatics is what 99% of women like. See, that is what I'm against. I'm against like sexist statements like that because I don't think that's true. I mean, maybe in your experience, but why do I care? Why do I care about what other people think? I'm in it for fragrances, right? So if we're talking about fragrances and if they're good or if they're not, why do I care if people with no experience smelling a fragrance says a fragrance is good? I just don't. I really don't. If I think a fragrance is good, then it's good for me. And vice versa. If I think it's bad, it's bad. If I get compliments and I hate it, why would I wear it? And frankly, I hardly ever get compliments on anything I wear. So, I mean, it means nothing to me if I get a compliment to start with. It's nice, but it doesn't dictate how I wear things. That to me is like the strangest thing with the fragrance culture right now is it's almost dictated by compliments. And that to me is the stupidest thing. It's the stupidest trait. I mean, utterly just dumb. I could go off on that, which I will eventually. Muddy, Aqua Amara was one I sold last year. Yeah, they're just other fragrances I think that are either aquatic or citrusy that I just think are just better. It kind of has like a middle ground where it's good in those areas, and it's not bad, but I just, you know, it's not that special, I guess. Gaming for Ohio, how long do fragrances last if stored in a dark, cool environment? I mean, they can last for decades. I mean, that's why people buy vintage bottles, because they last for a long time. And that's the right way to store it, really, is dark, cool environment. Carmen AC says, Dave, Versace Eros in 2020. What do you mean? I'm not sure what the question is. DJ Genki says, I like Atlantique far more. Yeah, I haven't tried that one. I want to try that one too. I don't have high hopes for that one. Oops. Cool, Tyler. I'll talk to you through text later. All right, let's see here. Carmen AC, do a review on Redolescence fragrance line. I will. They should be coming to me pretty soon, I think, so we'll see about that. Senator fragrance. A lot of guys wear fragrance to be attractive. That is what some men only wear fragrances for. Funny world. Yeah, I agree. I just think it's funny. Like, if you want to be attractive, treat women the right way. I mean, if you're looking to be attractive to women, the number one thing that women are looking for is respect and the right way to treat women. Treat women in the way that they want to be treated, and that will be more attractive than a fragrance. A fragrance is just like the icing on the cake, you know. catch my whiff. I don't get them either. More importantly, I don't get complaints. Exactly. And this is my point on the whole compliments thing, is that if you're thinking about comments in general, there are compliments and then there are complaints. Compliments, in my experience, are rare, but complaints never happen. But there are still people who are thinking negative thoughts about the fragrance that you're wearing. They're just not going to say anything. There are others that may think about the fragrance is good, but they just won't say anything either. But the point that I'm making is it's far more common for people to get something good and skew it through that positive comment bias type of thing, rather than thinking, hey, there are people that like this and are giving me compliments, but then there are people who don't like it and probably aren't saying anything. Muddy, when you're as ugly as me, you never get compliments. Oh man, I laugh, but I hurt at the same time. Tyler Wright says, I feel like I get compliments on everything I wear, but I don't think it has anything to do with the scent at all. I think I'm reasonably approachable, and that influences the compliments way more. I think you're exactly right. I think people will compliment people that seem approachable in that way. Maybe I'm not approachable. Do I have a resting face? I only look like this when I'm walking. Don't talk to me. FC Bayern Munchen says, I appreciate your the knowledge you've shared over the years. Greetings from Wyoming. Hey, greetings. Thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. And thank you for the compliment. I really appreciate that too. DJ Genki says, one of the best aquatics ever made was one of the first ones, Landvine Oxygene. Is that how you spell it? Or say it? Oxygene? Oxygene? I don't know. It is cheap and so good. I gotta try that one. That sounds good. Goodness. Casual Fragrances says, if I get compliments from my fragrances, that's great, but if not, no big deal. I love wearing my fragrances for me because I purchase them with my hard-earned money. Hi, Daver. Yeah, I agree. I think that's, yeah. If you wear fragrances and you get a compliment and you like it, fine. But if a compliment dictates how you wear something, like some people in the community are seeming to espouse, I think that is just stupid and strange. What a strange idea. There's like hardly any individuality or any thought process into that. It's just like following the herd there. I just think that's so dumb. Fall Guy says, I got a negative comment wearing Sauvage. Only other negative comment I've ever received was for the original Angel Men. That is interesting. Both of those I've gotten compliments for, funny enough. Interesting. And Sauvage is known for one of those, high compliment type of fragrances. But that's, again, your mileage may vary. And that is the other problem with the whole compliment thing. I know this is not even related to the topic at hand, in the video, but the whole compliment thing, your mileage may vary. Everyone's culture and subculture is different. What you consider to be good is subjective. Not all women like everything, right? And your woman, if you're in a relationship at all, the lady in your life may not like it at all. I know with my wife, she likes certain things and hates certain things. She likes certain things that I think are just okay, and she hates certain things that I love. It's just the way it is sometimes. But I could never say that her opinion is the opinion of all women. Like how sexist is that? And how stupid is that? Casual fragrances. Fragrances that get me compliments sometimes are Dior Sauvage EDT, Parfums de Marley Pegasus, and Bleu de Chanel Parfum. Abdel Sarkis says, my last compliment was in 2018. I was wearing Sauvage, and the compliment came from my wife's grandmother. I don't see that as a bad thing. It seems like he does. Paul Stanier says, hi, David. I just tried ADP Acqua di Parma Colonial Oud today. Or maybe that's Colonia Oud. Wow, is there a better fresh oud? Oh, that's a good one. I don't think I've tried many fresh ouds out there. And I'll have to see if I've tried that one. I think I have. I'm not exactly sure. Beef Curtains 69 says, you're wearing frags for others if all you want is compliments. I agree. Like if all you want is compliments, I don't understand why you even want to be in the fragrance community at all. Like why even get more than just one fragrance? All you need is just one fragrance. Mark Clements says, "Don't care if I get compliments, but don't want to draw negative attention, even if I do like the fragrance. So I can't wear Rive Gauche around my wife anymore." Yeah, yeah, and that's the kind of the line. I think there are some fragrances out there that may just bother other people around you, maybe certain loved ones in your life, like your wife or your spouse or whatever. And I've had those fragrances in my life, and I'm like, even though I love it, my wife would have to put up with that, and I don't want to do that. Robert Quinlan says, I compliment myself daily on what I wear. Anyone else's opinion is an added yet unnecessary bonus for me. Totally. All right, let's see what other fragrances I got. Let's see. Some new fragrances. Oh, this is going to ruffle some feathers here. Date for Men. I got Date for Men. I have some very strong opinions about this that I want to share with you pretty soon. So stay tuned for that. Definitely want to share that soon. All right. Also, too, Bruno Fazzolari sent me samples of Zdravitz. I think that's how you pronounce it. And then Corpse Reviver. And I have not tried these yet, so I really want to try these. Corpse Reviver is a redo of a fragrance that he had that was a limited release. I forgot what it was called. I forgot what it was, but it had a similar kind of name circling like a theme of death or something like that. But it's supposed to be very interesting. And Zdravitz, I forgot what these are supposed to be about. He always has great fragrances, so I'm really excited to try that one. And then I got this YVRA 1965, which I've always really liked YVRA's line. I think he has a great line. And this is his new one that he just finished making pretty recently. And I think this is kind of the weakest one in the line. It's a saffron kind of spicy based fragrance, and it's based on an Italian race car driver from the 60s, which is pretty cool. But I think the fragrance itself is a little on the weak side. It's okay, but I should have a review of that coming up soon. Then I got, okay, so here's a big surprise here. This is Skulls and Roses by Ed Hardy. And I was not expecting this to be that good. This is actually surprisingly good. And this really shocked me. It has one of the ugliest, hideous bottles I've ever seen in my life. Such a fake plastic looking thing here. I just gotta show it. Like, it looks awful. It's so dumb. I know some people would really like that, but I think it looks awful. And the weird thing is that you take off like the skull, the top of the skull. Like, what in the world? You take that off to spray it. It's bizarre. But the fragrance itself is actually great. It's really good. It smells like a niche fragrance that I've tried recently that I want to talk about. I want to talk about both of those soon. But yeah, so that one is one that's been pretty interesting. And then another one that I got, another two that I got these a while back, but I haven't tried these yet. I haven't even actually opened them. And this is from a company out of Spain. And I've been wanting to, he gave me these a while back, but it's a little company out of Spain. And it's Oritza El Legrand. And he has two fragrances here. One of them is supposed to be, it's got ribbons on there. Let me open up the ribbon real quick. One of these is supposed to be based on, it's supposed to have like a religious theme around, I believe, Easter, or maybe it's the holiday around John the Baptist. Not sure, but really cool. Pretty interesting labels there on kind of a plain bottle, but pretty cool. Intensity fragrance, that seems pretty neat. So I definitely want to talk about these soon because that's really cool. And he actually sent some incense to go with it, which is pretty neat. So yeah. So those are kind of some newer fragrances that that I got that I definitely want to talk about. Let's see, I got a lot of questions here. Let me go back in the questions real quick. Oh man, I went way back. Whew. G. Pavlato says, I bought Black Phantom from By Killian. It's awesome. It's great. One of my favorites from them. So good. Really like it a lot. Muddy, have you tried anything from Peter, A Fragrance View yet? I got Gaia and it's amazing. No, and honestly, I'm not going to. I had him on as a guest on my channel a while back, and I thought it was really good. And then soon after that, I had some videos go up about Jeremy Fragrance, and he said that he got some flack for it. And ever since then, he's been kind of blaming me for the flack that he got because he appeared on my channel before that happened in the beginning. So he sent me some kind of just, he's been kind of just curt with me and rude on other occasions. I have no interest in doing anything with that or with him, so I'm not going to review his fragrances at all. I doubt he would give me anything to begin with. I don't think he would even give me any samples, but I have no interest in that at all. DJ Genki says, I love Rogue, Chypre Siam, and Gallagher Rose All Day. Probably the best 29 buys, hands down. That's cool. G. Pavlato says, I saw Colognes by Luban, and I wanted to ask if there are any similarities with Black Phantom. Is it worth owning both? I don't think that they're that similar. Colognes to me is not as gourmand-like as Black Phantom. Black Phantom very much on kind of the salted caramel, chocolatey type of thing. Colognes isn't. Colognes is more of, I would say, it's in between. If there were like some kind of nexus between boozy and then woody and then gourmand, Colognes would be at the exact center where it's hard to pin down exactly what it is. So I don't think that it's necessarily like Black Phantom at all. So I do think it's worth owning both. But Colognes, I think, is amazing. Definitely sample it. There's places you can sample it. I think you can get samples from Lucky Scent. You might be able to find samples from Perfumology. I think Perfumology has Luban there, so that might be worth a shot. I also got Chris Collins' line of fragrances, and I've been wanting to make a video about that. So I got the whole line, and so I'll be making a video about that soon. It's just the queue is just starting to pile up at this point, but I will be making a video about that. I got some from Raja Dove, the new cologne line that I know a lot of people have been talking about, so I'll be talking about that soon too. And the Etherealist says the only people who should be worried about compliments are teenage boys. They need all the help they can get. True. Jay Stack says, I enjoy fragrances for personal reasons, but I must admit that I'm a compliment freak. Compliment me now, LOL. And then Greggy Boy says, Jay Stacks, you smell amazing. That's great. Paul Stanier says, wife complimented me for the first time in ages. The beast was Comme des Garçons Wonderwood. Interesting. Very interesting. So all ladies like that then? I need to know. Screaming Sex Doll says, in many ways, I prefer not to get compliments. When it's niche, it's tiresome trying to explain what it is. You see their eyes glaze over as you try to explain it. That's right, exactly right. So the one that I always hate getting compliments for, but I notoriously get compliments for, is Eccentric 04 by Eccentric Molecules. And so whenever they say Eccentric 04 by Eccentric Molecules, then I have to explain that Eccentric Molecules has the eccentric line and then the molecule line. And by that point, I've just lost them. And they don't even care. Beef Curtain 69 says, Bruno has some crazy scents. He has one that is supposed to smell like the bathroom with the dead old lady in the Shining movie. That might be the one that it is. That might be the one that we're talking about. Corpse Survivor is a redo of that fragrance, if I'm not mistaken. We might be wrong about, I might be wrong about what you're thinking of, I'm not sure. But this one is supposed to be kind of like a dead theme type of thing. Next Gen says, sup bro, hey. By the way, someone mentioned shirts. Taylor Stitch, guys. Taylor Stitch. I love Taylor Stitch. So I always want to thank them for their partnership. This is not a sponsored thing, but they sent me some shirts in the past, so I definitely want to talk about them whenever I can. So this is a Taylor Stitch shirt. It's one of their Moto line, Moto shirts. I love this shirt a lot. It's nice and warm. So yeah. Kahi Nice says it would have been nice to have a chance to hear Dave's real opinion on Date for Men. Oh well, you always get my real opinion. And you will on my review. Daniel T, that is a creepy bottle. I'm assuming you're talking about Skulls and Roses. Yeah, it is very creepy. At the same time, it's also poorly done too. Kwahi Nice says at least Robes 08 will be honest about Date for Men. Well, he is always honest, and so am I. So you'll get my honest opinions about Date for Men. But I'm sure that you will complain as much as you want, huh? Jay Stack says Nashane Ani was one of my best purchases of 2019, and I bet you smell amazing, Jay Stacks. Jay Smooth says, my girlfriend loves You or Someone Like You by Atatli Derange on me. Interesting. Luis Corbala says, looking for a fragrance with guacamole notes. I love my guac pack. That's funny. I wonder if there is a guacamole thing. I bet there's not. Beef Curtain 69 says, wow, blaming you after you made videos after he was on your channel, that is weak. That's not your fault at all. Yeah, it's just the way it is. Some people. I tried, I wanted to do more stuff with him at the time that I was having reviewers on as guests. And I told him, I said, don't listen to that. The dislikes and stuff like that will go away. So I personally have gained and lost subscribers. People unsubscribe from my channel all the time. And I told him, he was still upset with that. And then he sent me really rude comments about reviews that I did in which I didn't really agree with some of the popular opinions of some things. So I'm just not going to put up with that. I don't want to do anything with him at all. If he asks me to do something, I will. But I'm not going to reach out to him. I sincerely doubt he would even care. So no skin off my back anyway. DJ Genki says, most people don't review Dark Lord, but it's up there with Black Phantom to me. I've been wanting to try that one. I really wanted to try that when it came out. I'll have to see if I can get a sample of it. That one sounds amazing too, so I really wanted to smell that one. Tyler Wright says, got your hands on anything by Aaron Terrence Hughes yet? The way he describes his scents as having a bit of filth in them makes me want to buy everything, but no U.S. shipping. I haven't tried anything from him. If he reaches out to me, then sure. And I've seen him here on other channels, but I haven't reached out to him yet, and he hasn't reached out to me yet. So we'll see. It sounds interesting for sure. Beef curtains, yeah. Just the way it is. James Slick says, how's Jer? He's doing great. So I always talk to him. So I've always talked to him, like daily, even when he left. But he lives across the street now. So we haven't actually hung out since he moved. But I think we're gonna get some coffees pretty soon. I'm gonna have him do a couple of videos with me pretty soon, I think. And I'm going to see if he will review Date for Men. So we'll see what he thinks about Date for Men. Maybe even Office for Men. That might be fun to have him have him give his thoughts too. So I have a special thing for that. We have a couple of ideas that we want to try pretty soon. We'll see how that goes. But so me and Jer want to try to do something. The thing with Jer is he's still not interested in going full steam ahead on any kind of reviews or anything. But he likes hanging out with me and likes joining in on that kind of stuff. So we'll see how that is. I want to see if I can have him be more of a permanent thing, just because I like having that back and forth. I always think that he makes videos better, and he makes me better for having him on. That kind of back and forth. Even these live videos, I think, are better just because it's more entertaining to have kind of a back and forth, even if you're not there, in person. If you're here, having a back and forth to me is just more entertaining and informative in a lot of ways. The problem is Jer won't come back unless he had some kind of serious type of benefit for doing that. So I'm going to see maybe if we can pull some kind of funding for like a season of videos for him, like maybe do some kind of Patreon type of thing to see if we can give him some kind of monetary benefit for having him on the videos. We'll see. I'm not sure if that would even work. I don't know if if my subscribers would even care to donate towards that. But I think that would be the only way that I could have him on for a consistent number of videos. You smells good. Says, David, are you Whack Pack or Fragrance Army? Definitely Whack Pack. Definitely. Mexico's Hunter 86 says, Forever Perfumes. Oh, he's talking to someone else. Money says, how do you feel about Dior's downward spiral lately? That's interesting. I smelled some of their, the relaunch of the Privé line, and I think they were okay, but not amazing. And it is kind of a shame, isn't it? Like, their main line of fragrances has just been really blah. They have some good ones here and there. Like I think Dior Homme Cologne is fantastic. And I'm sure that there are some really good ones in the Dior private collection, the Maison Dior collection or whatever it is, whatever that private line is now that they renamed it. I'm sure there's some probably good ones in there. But yeah, I've heard that they're not as good, they're not as strong. And yeah, I think they're reformulated because they got Francois Demachy to make all of them instead of the perfumers they were getting before or something like that. I don't know the whole story, but something to that effect. And so the formulas changed sometimes dramatically. So yeah, I don't have a lot of thoughts about it necessarily, but it looks like there's some definite thunderclouds on the horizon with them. J Stack says, what is a good woody scent that has a bit of sweetness as well, but the woods being the dominant note, looking for input? I think one is Pure Wood by Angel Man, Thierry Mugler, Amen, Pure Wood. I think that's really good as far as a woody scent that is on the sweeter side. That one's that's excellent. That's one that I would definitely suggest. There's some more, I think. Sometimes it's hard to think on the spot about suggestions. So a lot of these questions for suggestions on the live chat are, I don't know, I have to think about it. That's one of them. I'd have to think about it. I have to go back and look in my fragrance wardrobe and Fragrantica to see, and that would spark some things there. I think definitely Colognes is kind of one of them. I think Colognes is interesting, like I said before, because it's like the nexus between worlds. But it has, it's definitely woody, but not super woody. So it's not a predominantly woody scent, but it has a woody kind of character to it, but also some sweet gourmand notes in there. But all of it is kind of toned down into like this really kind of smooth stone type of effect. So, that's kind of one thing there. I think that there are other ones. Okay. So when I think of a woody fragrance, usually I think of like cedar. But so to me, a good cedar fragrance is not necessarily okay. People are going to shoot me for this, but I think Pure Havane by Thierry Mugler is a good cedar fragrance. It has a lot of cedar in there. It smells like it to me. So anything with cedar to me usually comes off sweet and woody at the same time. Then there are other fragrances that have sandalwood that to me doesn't smell necessarily woody, even though sandalwood is a wood. But you can find some kind of sweeter sandalwoods out there, like I think some of the good ones, like I think Sedley is a really good citrusy sandalwood type of thing. Caput Mundi, like I've been talking about recently, is a good one that has a sweeter type of thing with the sandalwood. And Eccentric 04, but I think that one has a little bit of a sour twinge on there, which I actually really like. Alexander Murata says, regret 2019? No. However, 2020 has so far been a bit disappointed after the lackluster and shameful release of the now neutered Dior Homme. I gotta try it. I have to try it. I really want to hear it. I really want to see what it is. Beef Curtain 69 says Dior is dying. Woo, boy. I'm not excited about that for sure. Screaming Sex Doll says, Daver, I started collecting zoologists this year, 3 so far. Not sure I've seen you talk about them. Thoughts? So I haven't tried many of zoologists lately. Whenever they first came out, I tried their line, and they had, I think, 3 in their line. Maybe, I forgot how many they had in their line, but it was just a couple. And I think Rhino was one of them. And I forget what the other ones were. But I remember trying a couple of them that I thought, I don't really love them at the time. But I am interested in seeing how far they've grown since they first started. So I talked to Victor Wong initially, and he asked if he could send some samples, and I said, I tried the samples, and he asked if I could do a review of it, if I wanted to, and I told him, I said, to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of the initial fragrances that you have, talking to Victor, and I don't want to trash your line because I know you have a smaller line. I don't want to give a negative opinion and negatively affect your line. And he really appreciated that. And so we just kind of parted ways at that time. But I really am interested in trying his line now because he has a lot more fragrances. So I think there are probably some that I would actually like in the line. And I also want to return to the ones I didn't like to see if maybe my opinion has changed, because that's possible too. So no promises with that, but that's the reason I haven't talked about them so far. And but possibly, maybe in the future, we'll just see. I haven't talked to him recently, but I have no doubts that he would be glad to send me some samples of his line. Dan Spano says, David, have you tried your Guerlain Louis? If so, what are your thoughts on it? I don't think I have. I may have tried it a while back, and I thought it was pretty good, but I need to go check Fragrantica, but I don't really have any thoughts on it currently, so I don't think I don't have any memory of it. Luis Corbala says, the new Daniel Hosier, let's see, Hosier, oh my gosh, Quetzali has avocado. Interesting. Hey, Tom Elise, how are you doing? Beef Curtain 69 says, the fragrance from Bruno is called Room 237. I just looked it up. As that is the hotel room number with the dead old lady. Lamp Black is pretty nice petrol fragrance too from Bruno. Yeah, Lamp Black is really interesting. It's one of the darkest scents out there that I've tried, and I really like it. It's so smoky and dense and disturbing to me. But I love it. It's almost too hard for me to wear, but it's so cool. Rich Mitch, any plans to come to England? I don't have any immediate plans, but I would love to. I have always wanted to go. I've been, such an Anglophile of certain things, and I've always wanted to go, but I don't have any immediate plans to. If there were a way professionally for me to go up there and make it a business trip, I would definitely do it. I mean, in a second, I would do it. But I just don't have anything lined up to do that. Joey Kimball says, hey, Dave, I'm curious about the brand Bond Number 9. I don't hear much about the fragrances here on YouTube. Why do you think they fly under the radar, and what do you think of their brand? I'm actually very curious to hear you say that they fly under the radar. I mean, I don't hear much about them currently, but they've been like a darling in the community for a long time. Like Bleecker Street, New Harlem, Riverside Drive. What are some other ones that are really popular from them? Lots of really great ones. Wall Street. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I think they're good. I think they have so many in their line. When a fragrance company gets that many in their line, I'm always kind of, they need to scale back or do something because it's almost becomes impenetrable. And Mancera and Montal especially are like that to me. I don't like it when a fragrance company has like 100 in their line. And but I love what Bond Number 9 is doing. I don't know if they've come out with any good ones recently in like the last couple of years, but I think they're pretty cool. right. We're good, Rich. I'll just wait on you. Ryan Huerta says, "Do you like honey on your cornbread, Daver? If so, try B by Zoologist." I need to try it. Real man, real style. Hey, Antonio, how are you doing? Says influential London Dave. That'd be cool. That'd be awesome. Hope all is well. All is well here. Thank you for joining, Antonio. Really appreciate it. Carl Morowski. Hey, how are you doing, man? Is the light doing good? I just got kind of my cheaper one. It looks a little orange and a little bright right now. I need to turn it down. Jay Diamond, how are you doing? By the way, guys, definitely go check out Carl Morowski's channel if you haven't already. He's got a great channel, talks about style, and really, really great channel. Also check out, Real Men, Real Style if you haven't already. Antonio Centeno's killing it. Love those guys. Screaming Sex Doll says, "Why do people create these fragrances that smell like vomit and excrement, etc.? I can't get my head around it. I'm all for being artistic, but who would buy and wear this stuff?" Yeah, I know what you mean. These type of fragrances are really only for a particular type of niche. And that's just for fragrance people that just enjoy fragrances and enjoy new things. And that's really the only people that are for. It's not necessarily to wear for compliments. It's not necessarily to wear because they're good. It's because they're making something that is an artistic expression. And I think that has an importance. I think there's a certain place for that. I agree. I think as far as what I personally like to wear, I personally want to wear something that is unique, but also something that is likable for me. Maybe it's pleasant for other people too, but I don't necessarily like wearing something that smells like just like an ashtray, or smells like a urinal cake, or smells like a dead mouse, or smells like something like that. I want to try something that that I love and that I think is wearable. Now, I don't think that some of these companies, I don't think they're necessarily trying to. I think these companies that are trying to do that, they're trying to make these really artistic things, are just really doing it for the art's sake. They're doing it for the shock value. I think that's really the main place that they're coming from. And then there are other companies, I think, like Imaginary Authors, and they really try to navigate those two and shoot for like a middle ground. And I think Imaginary Authors does it really well. And then there are other ones, again, that don't try to navigate it as well, and they go in the opposite direction. They just go for the least common denominator type of fragrance that everyone might like. And it's not unique at all. It's like every other thing out there. And that's what we're seeing a lot now, currently in the designer realm, these mall type of fragrances, with the molecule, as I say, M-A-L-L. And so, yeah, there's two extremes. There is that too artistic to be wearable, and then there's too wearable to be unique. And then you have to strike a balance in the middle, I think, that hits where a lot of people want to smell. No problem, Antonio. Glad to have you on. Rich Mitch says, "What are you drinking, Daver?" This is actually just water. But interesting enough, this is a mug called the Mighty Mug. I saw this just as an ad on YouTube. I'm actually going to be doing a video about this on my other channel, Beast Made Reviews. So if you haven't checked out Beast Made Reviews, definitely go check it out. I do a lot of different reviews on high quality products, a broader range of things on that channel. But this is actually a great mug. And it has like this suction cup thing on the bottom there that it sticks on a table, and it makes it impossible. You can't do it on my hand. It makes it impossible for you to knock it off. But then when you just pull it up, there's no suction at all. It just comes up fine. It's a really ingenious product, and I really love it. But this is just actually water on the inside. But I put coffee in that. This has it's like a thermos type of cup, metal on the outside. Like, I think it's just aluminum, like a insulated aluminum, which is great for cold or hot stuff. But that's just it. That's my mini review of the Mighty Mug. Goriella 2019 says, I can't still believe that my Mickers is dead. I miss him so much. Yeah, I miss him too, man. I miss him. I think about him daily. Just the other day, I was thinking about something, and this is part of like the grief process that I don't like, that you'll have a thought and you think, oh, I've got to tell Dan about this. And then you realize I can't tell Dan. And that's the part that I think hurts the most on, like that progressive type of thought process, that you forget that he's gone. And that hurts a lot. Now, I was just thinking the other day about a fragrance that I wanted to tell him about. So it's upsetting. AW says, are you still disappointed with Telegramma? Yeah. I mean, I think it's okay. I want to see if it gets any better over time. I don't know how long the maceration process is with imaginary author stuff. I'm assuming that it's maybe just a standard thing for all of his fragrances. But I wonder if that might be one of the issues. Like, I'd have to ask him. And I wonder if maybe if it macerated longer, maybe it might change, kind of like what I smelled with Office One. And this is kind of just a shot in the dark to see, maybe I could be wrong about it, because I wanted so much, I wanted so much to like Telegramma, but I just don't. I don't think it's that good. I think it's very much in the style of just a sweet, powdery fragrance with like licorice and a little bit of a lavender thing. It doesn't smell 60s to me at all. And I've had other maybe aftershaves that are styled after the 60s. Smelled other ones like old Gillette ones, or there's one I think called Sun Up or Sundown. Forget which one it is. But I've tried that, and it smells like you would think. It smells like that style of 60s type of fragrance. But Telegramma doesn't smell like it's supposed to smell. It doesn't smell like a 60s reference at all. Milad Malian says, David, you can try Gorilla perfume. I think it's a really underrated frag. Which one is that? Is Gorilla a fragrance, or is the Gorilla the line? Rich Mitch says, have you ever seen an assassin's teapot? I have not, but I'm wondering if that's a British euphemism. Jassim M says, hey Dave, hey, how are you doing? Steve M says, I miss Dan too. He was one of the most descriptive and entertaining reviewers. His channel was the first I subscribed to when getting into fragrances. Yeah, I miss him. Miss him a lot. Well, thank you everyone for joining me. It took about an hour of your time, and I really appreciate it. Rich Mitch says Gorilla Perfumes is Lush Perfume's name. Ah, that's right. That's right. I need to try more of them. I tried them when I went to the mall, but I haven't really reviewed them. I need to get more time with them. Anyway, thank you guys for coming on. Really appreciate it. I'll have more videos coming soon, so stay tuned for that. And have a great day. I'll see you later.